don't read romance, but I read this one. Hello everyone, this is MJ and welcome to my channel called Reading This Life. Welcome if you are brand new and welcome back if you are a subscriber. In this video, I am going to talk about my experience with 7 Days in June. This was a trip. Let's talk about it. And before we get started in this video, make sure to like this video, comment down below, let me know, have you read this? What are your thoughts on it after you see this video? And subscribe to my channel. So I'm gonna break up this video in 2 separate sections in case anyone hasn't read this. So in this section, we're gonna do the spoiler-free version, and then I'm gonna put a timestamp right here. If you want to get to the spoiler section, you can just hop along ahead. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to get spoilery at all. This is a Second Chance at Love novel. It focuses on 2 characters who are adults and they are writers, very successful in their own genres. And when they were in high school, they had a chance interaction that lasted 7 days. And they fell in love, and then 7 days was over. So these 2, in their publishings, were writing secretly about each other, which when I read that in the synopsis of the book, it just drew me right in. I'm like, I gotta read this book. So this book is a whirlwind about a second chance love. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the characters, how they were presented. I loved Eva as a character. I loved, she is a mom in this book and she has a daughter who has her own personality. Also their literary agent, I believe, or manager. She's a character too, but very, very satisfying to read. This is a very light read. It's a very easy read. It's not super heavy on the romance parts, just enough, I think. For someone like me that doesn't read romance, it was a good fit. I enjoyed it. It was a good palate cleanser after reading A Little Life. And in the spoiler section, I'm gonna talk about some ironic things between these 2 books. But I thought Eva was a fantastic character. And it's interesting because in the book, she has a migraine disorder that really debilitates her all week long while reading this book because of the weather with warm temperatures, cold temperatures, warm temperatures, cold temperatures. I also was suffering from some type of sinus or migraine headache, which was kind of weird when I was reading it, like a little synchronicity. But yeah, I really enjoyed both of these characters and how they developed. I also, at the back of the book, let me tell you, ebooks have come a long way because in this book, they have book club questions, and they also have questions posed to the author, which I thought was fantastic. And yes, of course I read them. And the bio of the author, she is an executive at Estee Lauder. She works in the fashion industry, and I thought that was fantastic. So yeah, I gave this a solid 4 stars on Goodreads. Probably on Storygraph, I will give it 4.5, maybe. Yeah, 4.5. Because I felt good after reading the book. Not gonna lie, I wanted a little bit more, but it was just right. It was just right. So for spoiler free, this was a very, very nice introduction into romance. I enjoyed the storytelling, I enjoyed the writing. I also appreciated that the characters are a little bit older. They're probably in their mid-30s, and you know, when they first met, they were in high school, so probably, I don't know, 16, 17, 18. But having that, I don't know, that more of an adult sense to their characters made it more relatable to me. And I also think if you've ever had a second chance romance, this is definitely relatable. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. I think it came in at like 316 pages or something like that. It was a pretty fast read for me. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. So now we're gonna switch over to the spoilery section. Okay, so spoiler section. I still really enjoyed the book. There's one thing I didn't like about the book. I hated the fucking drugs. I hated the drugs. Sometimes I can see where they come into play to make a story better, but reading that chapter, I was watching like an episode of Euphoria or something. I didn't like it. I didn't get it. I didn't think it needed all of that. Like, I understood, but it's just me. I don't like reading about, you know, kids turning to drugs. That's just me. And then I finished A Little Life, right? And in A Little Life, there's a spoiler. And Jude cuts himself. Like it's an addiction. And then we find out Eva cuts herself. And I'm like, why can't I get away from people that are cutting themselves? So that was a synchronicity, and I thought that was odd. I didn't know if she needed that. I don't know. I guess I'd like to hear the author's take on that. But I mean, that's the character, that's who she developed as the character of Eva, which was fine. Someone asked if I thought that the relationship was toxic. I don't think it was. I didn't see any toxicity on Shane's part. You know, Shane to me seemed more introverted and unsure of himself than toxic. You know, I'm glad that they went through recovery, each of them went to some form of rehab, which was nice that they incorporated that in the book. Yeah, but no, I loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't know what I was getting into when I was getting into the book, except 7 Days in June. So yeah, so there's that. What else? No, I guess that's it. I mean, there's really nothing spoilery. I'm glad that, you know, I didn't like how Eva reacted when Shane didn't show up to Lauderay. I mean, I understand how she reacted, but basically she's just like, that's it, it's over, you know, nothing. Like, I don't even know if she contemplated if there was an emergency or something like that. And this is when Shane flew off for Ty, who was shot and was in ICU and on a ventilator and subsequently died. So I didn't like her reaction. It was so severe. It was so severe. I mean, I don't even know what the time frame he was gone. If it was more, I'm sure it was more than a day. But just that lack of understanding, the way that I perceived it, I thought it was a little harsh. That's just me. Yeah, I probably would have said, oh, hey, you've been missing for a couple days, what's up, like, what's going on? And then let him tell me and be like, oh, now I understand, okay. You know, I just kind of sent you off. But then the trauma of her going through the relationship with him the first time and leaving and never coming back, I can see how that revealed itself again. You know, and when he left the first time, her mother basically had him put in jail, and he was in jail, and that's why she couldn't see him anymore, which is crazy. But yeah, so those are just my little things about the book. Would I recommend it to someone? Absolutely. Like I said, I'm not a romance reader, so to me this was like a, you know, a thing. So if you have not read 7 Days in June, I recommend it. Okay, so that is my review of 7 Days in June. A little light, a little airy. If you aren't into romance, this is a good one to start with. And it's a good palate cleanser in between heavier novels. So yeah, I recommend it. Okay guys, and until next time, goodbye for now.